it's a long year. We've played 2 rounds of rugby. There's a lot of rugby to be played, and it's very easy to listen to the noise outside the building, but we're still very consistent, very confident in who we are and what we can achieve this season, irrespective of some of the injury setbacks we've had so far.
Tom, it's great to have you on the show. You've been part of the Bristol Bears journey for a while now, 15 years you were telling me earlier, and you've just been appointed as one of the youngest CEOs in Prem Rugby history, and what a journey you've been on, and it's fantastic to have you on the show. Would you be able to give us a quick introduction to yourself for the audience at home?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, thank you for having me on. So I've been with Bristol Bears through good times and bad for the last 15 years. The journey started when we were in the lower echelons of the Championship, and we've certainly gone from strength to strength since then under the guidance of the Lansdowne family and through the Bristol Sport model. I grew up in the city, so it's a club that I'm have deep roots with and care about very deeply. I moved away, spent some time in different sports organisations across the world, and I think that gave me a really good perspective of sport as a entertainment model. And certainly since I've been back here at Bears and since we rebranded back in 2017, there's been so much opportunity for us to accelerate off-field with some of the ideas we've had around commercialising our brand, and obviously with Pat Lam as Director of Rugby at the helm, and he's been here for almost as long as I have. There's great alignment across performance and operations.
Nice. And you must have quite a close relationship with Pat after so much time together.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, I think what Pat has done for this rugby club and the direction that he has taken us has been fantastic. He's a really impressive guy, a great leader, an excellent man manager, and someone that when he first came in, he had a really clear vision of changing the mindset of this rugby club. We can't shy away from the fact that prior to our rebrand, we were a club that had traditionally struggled to compete at the top tier of English rugby. And I remember when Pat first came in, and we were in the Championship at the time, it was 2017, and he got all the staff together and he talked about this idea that we would win the European Cup within 5 years, and everyone's sort of like nudging each other, and at the time it seemed like something that was so far beyond the realms of possibility, but we actually went on to win the European Cup in 2020 during the COVID era, and it was a real testament to that realisation that this was a club that was moving in the right direction and had made the right changes off field, and long may that continue. Pat's here for another 3 years. We have real ambitions to keep building, to win silverware, to keep competing at the right end of the table, at the business end of the season. So I think we're in a really positive place.
That's amazing. So, I mean, Tom, coming from a fan to CEO, how did that appointment feel?
Having been here so long, I understand the privilege of working with people that you care about, and you know that there are good people across the organisation. And as I said, I've seen what good looks like just as much as I've seen where there's been real challenges. And when I started at Bristol Rugby, I was very much at the bottom end of the chain, and having had that opportunity to work all the way through and try my arm at lots of different things along that journey across marketing and media and communications, I feel like I've had a really good sense of where the club can go and the sort of mood of the fan base, and certainly I look back at that journey as like a real privilege and an education to be sat here now and as a custodian of the club and wanting to take it to the next level, and everything is in place for us to be successful. I mean, you guys see, you look at the facility that we have here, the stadium at Ashton Gate, the crowds, so we're averaging over 20,000. We've got the data that shows that our audience is getting younger, it's getting more diverse. Like, we do a lot of great work in our community with our schools and programs. We're really trying to tap into our Bristol business community and get that alignment in our region there as well. So the sky's the limit for this rugby club. Ultimately, we want to win silverware, and we want to leave a legacy here in Bristol.
Of course. And what would you say has been your favourite memory here so far? Of course. And what would you say has been your favourite memory here so far?
I think that the first game of the 2018-19 season, which was the summer after we'd rebranded, we'd just been promoted, there was a lot of scrutiny and cynicism around the rebrand, as I'm sure you guys will remember, and we had Bath at home on that first day of the season, and we were the sort of young upstarts, and Bath were the traditional powerhouses of the Southwest. And I remember it was an absolute pumping crowd, really hot August evening, and we were fortunate enough to get over the line at the end against a very good Bath side, and that just sort of put a flag in the sand to say that the Bears are here and we're not going anywhere, and we're here to make some noise. And I think since then that's been a real catalyst for us to go from strength to strength.
Looking back at all the memories and whatnot, what's your future and vision for the next 3 to 5 years?
I think that success for us would be leaving the club in a place where we are an established winning organisation. We win trophies, we contribute to our community, which we do very well, but we've developed a ruthless edge whereby when people think of Bristol Bears, they think of a team that plays attractive rugby, that has a consistent vision and strategy behind who we are, and we win games off the back of it. I say to our team, our field, that we need to operate like a marketing agency that plays rugby, and I think that there's a huge opportunity in the sport to really tap into new markets and new audiences, and Premiership Rugby are doing that really well. You guys are doing that well. I mean, credit to you, what you've built is fantastic, and these are exactly the sort of platforms that we as clubs should be embracing and celebrating. So I think that we have a genuine opportunity to build our audience in an authentic way, not just here in Bristol, but overseas as well. We've launched Big Day Out last year in Cardiff, and we'll be repeating that again this season against Harlequins. And we want to continue to develop a team that has a core of homegrown players, a core of young players that represent the Bristol Bears values, but can win games, and can win games when it matter, and can bring silverware to a club that in over history haven't won a lot of silverware, and we want to change that narrative.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at other sports, take PSG for example, they're a brand. Football comes second for a lot of and the players that they've got around it. It's all around sort of how they build that brand, and people want to then associate themselves with the brand, and they've just won the European Champions League. I'm not a football fan, so. But yeah, they've just won the Champions League, and now off the back of that, they already had a massive fan base, but thanks to social media, they've been able to reach a lot more people than they traditionally might have because of the content and the media that they're putting out there.
100%, and you've hit the nail on the head, and everything is about content and talking to audiences in a way that rugby hasn't necessarily done for a long time, and we've put a lot of time and resource and focus into our social media and our digital platforms, and we have a very clear tone in the way that we try and do things, and it's different and it's punchy, and we want to make that splash. And look, it's also really important to protect and understand the values of our core fan base. They're equally as important to us, and we are very fortunate that we have a large number of those. Like we have one of the biggest average attendances in the Premiership, but if we sat here in 3 years' time and we're talking about the same things as we are today, then the club is going backwards. Like, we need to keep moving forward. We need to keep pushing and innovating, and that's why I think that there are so many touch points across fan engagement, tech, different exhibition fixtures that we can continue to explore and take calculated risks and be really positive about it, because I'm really tired of people telling us that rugby can't do this or rugby is limited by this. Like, we're all part of the game, we're all proud of the game, and I think that there's so much that we can be proud of and celebrate in rugby, and I want Bristol Bears to be a vehicle to really shout about what's great and exciting and dynamic about the sport.
I think you can actually kind of see that mindset shifting across rugby as a platform now. I mean, the Women's World Cup has done us wonders for that, I think. I mean, we've seen the results of that, and how has that kind of impacted Bristol?
The Women's World Cup was fantastic, and we had 2 quarters and 2 semis here at Ashton Gate. And it was just great, and the buzz that it brought to the city and the energy and the investment in the city and around South Bristol. We're very fortunate that we've got a very strong women's team. We got a number of Red Roses who are coming back with their champions medals, which we're very proud of them. And we had Ilona Maher here last year on a short-term deal, and we've obviously got Rees-Zammit this year on the men's side. And I think what both of those players have done is they've moved the dial in understanding what it means to be an asset and to be high profile and to use your superstar status in a way that is positive and engaging and give something back. So that the women's team is something that we're seeing huge commercial opportunity and upside in. And the success of the Red Roses has to be a catalyst for us to take that to the next step. And we've got a fantastic engaged group here that work across our women's club, led by Scott Lawson, our new head coach, and we're really excited about where that's going.
What do you mentioned there, you see a massive potential in the women's game from a commercial aspect. What untapped revenue opportunities do you see from that sprouting out from there?
I think that the audience that follows women's rugby is slightly different to the men's audience in that it's very brand-led, it's families, it's lifestyle, and I think that there are opportunities to tap into really authentic collaborations with forward-thinking, progressive organisations that don't necessarily see women's rugby as the value is played out between the white lines on the pitch, but they see the value in really intelligent individuals who can become superstars, who know how to promote the brand, who can talk about rugby in a way that is new and exciting. And one of the things that I thought was brilliant at the World Cup, both across the coverage and in bowl at stadium, was that they were very open about explaining the rules of the game, making sure that it was accessible and inclusive for new audiences. And that's something that I think that we can carry forward as a lesson on the men's side of the game, to remember that rugby can be seen as quite a complex and closed-off sport, and the more that we're able to simplify, explain, quicken up, make things entertaining, take advantage of the breaks in play, should continue to engage different demographics. 100%.
And what impact did Ilona Maher have on the day-to-day here?
She was just awesome. Like, she's someone that is not only obviously like a stratospheric star in her own right, but really humble, a really good person. And I think that she gave all of her teammates confidence about who they are and the power of their own channels. And you look at what Sarah Byrne in particular, who's an unbelievable athlete in her own right, and credit to Sarah what she's achieved for both Bears and England, but the influence that Ilona has had on Sarah, and Sarah talks about it in various media that she's done about positive body image and real self-awareness about her ability to impact and influence. And Sarah's got a really entrenched social media impact now, and her audience is growing. And I think that is where perhaps there is real untapped opportunity for rugby. And we talk about it, and it's a bit of a popular buzzword at the moment without anyone actually sort of actioning it, is that there are players that have huge platforms or huge potential platforms that if they open up and they can show personality and they can show a willingness to engage, then we can really drive the game and its feasibility in new audiences forward. And I do have to pay tribute to Lewis Rees-Zammit and Taylor and his family as well, because they've also been a breath of fresh air in terms of their approach to the sport, the approach to what they want to get out of their time in Bristol. And Lewis is obviously a superstar on the field, but he is a consummate professional off the field, and the way that he articulates his willingness to engage across different media and stakeholders has been really unique and impressive.
Having had your conversations with Lewis and obviously signing from Gloucester, the local rivals, could you give us a bit of detail of what was some of the motivations for joining Bristol?
Yeah, so when the opportunity came up, so Lewis actually posted on his Instagram that his time in the NFL was coming to an end, and that sort of quickly went round the rugby club that there was an opportunity and where was he going. And Geffin, who's our excellent head of recruitment, I dropped him a note and said, let's get on to his representatives and see if there's an opportunity. And things moved really, really quickly because Lewis was not short of suitors. And I think in the space of about 72 hours, we'd managed to get the terms of the deal done, liaise with getting Lewis over from Jacksonville for a medical and a visit. And I think what was really different and unique about the process with Lewis was that our media and social team were at the forefront of a lot of those discussions. So typically you sign a player and they have the medical, it's very performance focused, and then at the end of it, that news is sort of packaged up and said to the media team, right, go out and get this announced and talk to your various external channels. But we actually flipped that on its head, and it became a media and brand first play. So Lewis had a number of briefing sheets and calls prior to his arrival in the country to understand what he wanted to get out of any announcement, what a sustainable campaign for Lewis Rees-Zammit would look like at Bears, what we could do for him and his brand during his time in the West Country. And if I'm honest, I think that was the selling point. Obviously, we've got the facilities, we've got the excellent coaching. Lewis saw us as a club where he will be able to integrate back into rugby in a way that is quick and impactful. And as we've already seen, he's had a brilliant start to his career here in Bristol. But equally, he knew that we had the team and the marketing expertise to take his brand and his interests off field to the next level.
Of course. And how important are those marquee player signings for you?
They're huge. I mean, we are it's no secret that we are a squad that has we've leaned out in the last few years, and gone are the days of Charles Piutau and Semi Radradra, and they were wonderful ambassadors for our club. But we've gone in a slightly different direction now, and we're focusing on a much leaner, younger group, and we're about giving opportunities to young players and playing a defined style. And look, it worked last season. We made the semi-finals, and we took Bath close at the Rec, and unfortunately fell short in that second half. So we believe that we have a model and a product that works. But as with any team sport, you need the cohesiveness of the group. You need the alignment and understanding of system and game plan, but you also need some guys that have the ability to change the game. And when I think of our squad, we've got those players across the park, from Gab Zibitoy to Harry Randall to Calaveti Bravovu, Tom Jordan, Pedro Rubiolo, Harry Thacker, that the list goes on and on. We have players that play an all-court game that we believe we can score from anywhere, we can threaten from anywhere, and a number of those players have been with us for 3, 4, 5 years. So we've been able to build that game plan and that cohesiveness year on year. So it's a group of players that have come through the journey with us. Stephen Luatua being the best example. He's remains one of the best players in the Premiership, and he made his debut with us back in the Championship in 2017. So it's great stories that these guys that might be perceived as your sort of big names, they're part of a team, and they're part of a strategy that is about the whole team and the whole system.
And as a club, what do you look for when signing a player?
It's a great question. So obviously we want players that fit the way that we play, have great understanding of the game can learn quickly. We will not sign a player unless they have come and met with Pat personally, and he will talk with them about what their dreams are, what their ambitions are in the sport. And equally, we want players that understand that we are more than just a rugby club. Like it's, you could win on a weekend and that's a moment in time and that's great, but actually we are a club that wants to leave a legacy, and some of the biggest impact is what we do in our community, hospital visits, schools, programmes, and the players understand that they are ambassadors for the Bears and for Bristol and the wider region. So all of our group, I can say with absolute confidence, are excellent ambassadors for the rugby club and for what we are trying to achieve. And obviously they are showing week in, week out that they also have the ability to perform at the highest level.
What does the bidding process look like for getting someone like Lewis into the club? Did you have to compete against many other clubs? Did you have to put in like a proposal saying this is what we're offering, or how did it sort of look?
And this is where our recruitment team are so diligent and proactive, because naturally we're all fishing in a small pond, and there's a number of guys that when they come available, there's a lot of clubs that want to take a look at them, and like anything, we got to put our best foot forward. We put together a package that we believe is the competitive and the right package for the individual. That doesn't always just mean financially. You often need to build out a broader proposition around their care on and off the field, their development professionally, life after rugby. Like, you want to take a really holistic approach to that. But it's obviously a tough market, and the best players will command the best price and have the most interest, and we want to be in those conversations. We know that we have the facilities, but also Bristol is a city that is a wonderful place to live and work. It's vibrant, it's safe, it's eclectic. It's a great place for our players to be with their families. So there's lots going for the rugby club, but then it's a 10-team league, and all of the teams are excellent and have strengths in their own right. So we've just got to put our best foot forward, really.
Do you think we could see Ilona Maher coming back to the club?
I think that if the opportunity for Ilona to come back to Bristol presented itself, then that's something that we would be really excited about.
I think we'd all like to see her back, that's for sure.
Yeah, so Ilona, if you're watching, come back.
Yeah, 100%. And then, obviously, talking of recruitment, it's been quite a tricky couple of weeks for Bears with lots of major injuries. Lewis went down, and you had AJ McGinty, Harry Randall, and then there was Gabriel Ebitoye. Firstly, how long do you know when these guys might be coming back? But also, what's the action plan now for Bears going forward? Yeah,
we have excellent alignment with our athletic performance and medical departments. So the comms is always really clear. Straight after games, we're straight on to that. All of those guys, unfortunately, range from medium to long term. AJ in particular was an Achilles injury that will put him out to the second half of the season. And look, injuries, while not ideal, and I would say if anyone lost their first choice 9 and 10 in the first game of the season would certainly be facing a challenge. But injuries are part of the game, and we have to be positive about it's that next man up attitude, and that's the whole reason why you have a squad, and we believe in the squad that we have. And look, things were challenging for us at Saracens for a number of reasons, and credit to Saracens and Mark McCall and his coaches, because they were excellent on the day and deserved winners. But we've got to get back on the horse. We've got Exeter Chiefs on Saturday, and then back-to-back derbies away from home with Gloucester and Bath. And we believe in the group that we have, and we believe in the squad, and we think that there is still excellent quality across the board, and there's opportunities for young players. And those guys are working hard behind the scenes to get back to fitness and get back in the mix. And it's a long year. We've played 2 rounds of rugby. There's a lot of rugby to be played, and it's very easy to listen to the noise outside the building, but we're still very consistent, very confident in who we are and what we can achieve this season, irrespective of some of the injury setbacks we've had so far.
And Tom, what can we expect to see this season from the Bears?
Well, it'll always be a roller coaster. That's what Bears games are. We will be entertainment at the forefront. We will play a style that is dynamic and consistent, and we want to go round teams, over teams, through teams. We will be a team that will hopefully be in the hunt every game. We'll score tries. We'll, if it's on, it's on. We'll be innovative in our approach, and certainly off field as well. We want to keep making people happy, make people stand up and take notice, have real fun along the way, because that's the whole point of sport. We're all here to entertain and enjoy it, and certainly we want to be seen as a team that is at the forefront of positive change and impact in the Premiership in the Northern Hemisphere.
I think if you guys can pull it off this season, that's going to be a great story arc, isn't it? You look at the start of the season, all these injuries, and then bounce back and make top 4. That would be quite a story to tell.
And that's our ambition. And look, we're 2 games in, and in week 1 we scored 40 points against a very, very good side that made the Premiership final last year and will be in and around the playoffs this time around. And in week 2, we unfortunately weren't quite there at the StoneX against an excellent Saracens side. So there are no easy games. It's such a cliche, but it's true, and that's why the product in the Premiership is so strong, because everyone can beat each other. And we've just got to be right on our day, get our jobs right, be really consistent in what we do, not get too high after a win and not get too low after a defeat. But certainly the feeling in camp is one of composed, we're positive, and we're raring to go come Saturday.
100%. How important is social media and storytelling within telling this journey, if you like?
It's absolutely critical. We want to bring people along the journey with us. We want people to be fans of Bristol Bears, irrespective of, excuse me, whether they're at match days or whether they just follow us from afar. We want Bristol Bears to be everyone's second favourite team, because we're fun and we're on the edge and we're dynamic, and we believe that we do things differently, and we have a point of difference to the other clubs in the Premiership. I mean, it was said that it was a risk to take a game to the Principality last season, and we had 51,000 at the Principality. We had a big win over our neighbours Bath, and everyone who was in Cardiff that day felt that it was a brilliant occasion, and it's given us something to build on. And that comes with us just being bold, being really positive, being willing to take calculated risks, and being willing to try things. And not everything's going to work, but certainly if you don't try, you don't know. And I think that rugby as a sport is ripe for trying to innovate, for trying new things, for really embracing and adopting new mindsets. And I do think that Premiership Rugby have been excellent in driving that centrally. There is definitely now an aligned approach of how do we talk to audiences, how can we be consistent in our approach, and how can we engage. And we've got to see social media as our biggest sales tool to young and old people alike, because it's opening up the curtain, if you like, and it's giving people a view into the Bears that they otherwise wouldn't see. And so we have an opportunity every day to shape the perception and optics of your rugby fan, and I think that's a really exciting opportunity.
100%. What's one thing you'd like to see more of from clubs?
I think I'd love to see more authentic collaboration between the clubs. There's the clubs are excellent in terms of working behind the scenes and having shared understanding of how we can grow the game. I think outwardly facing, it would be great for us to work together, have a bit of niggle, create those sort of entertainment rivalries in a way that doesn't necessarily impact across this idea of rugby values and wanting to not necessarily offend or step out of line. I think that if we all treat the game as an entertainment product and we all look at it through that lens, then there's so much fun that could be had with opposition players and build-ups and narratives into games. And I thought that the interview that you guys did with Charlie Beale at Saracens was excellent, and credit to Charlie and his team, because what they did after their win on the opening night against Newcastle was fun, and it was different, and it captured attention, and it got people talking. And that is our biggest challenge, right? That's why we're all here. We want people to stand up and take notice, and we want people talking about rugby, and we want rugby to capture the headlines.
Yeah, I can't wait till you guys play Gloucester again, because, you got to make a statement, right?
Yeah. I mean, Gloucester last year, we went to Kingsholm and we got a bit of a spanking. We actually lost to Gloucester on the second day of the season last year as well. They came to our place and Christian Wade scored a couple. So Gloucester's a great club. Know Nicole and Alex Brown really well, and we have a great relationship with those guys, and they've been a wonderful neighbour to us over the years. So we're there the week after next. Always a great derby at Kingsholm, and then we go to the Rec to play Bath. So certainly for our supporters as well, the next couple of weeks with three Southwest derbies in a row, it's going to be box office.
Any fighting words to the other teams? Anything they've got to watch out for?
Well, look, we're just going to we're going to give it our best. we've got to get the players out on the pitch at this point, and we're going to focus our energy on Exeter. And obviously, I say to the guys off field, like, let's the bits that we can control, which is getting a great match day, getting people through the door, preparing as best as possible so that the players and coaches have everything that they need and the best possible platform to succeed. That's what we'll be focused on this week, and that I can guarantee that every time that our team take the field at Ashton Gate, that it's going to be absolutely rocking.
I like it.
No, definitely. We're really excited to see what you guys have in store for this season. But I mean, just to circle back to you for our last question, do you have any advice for anyone trying to chase their dreams? I mean, CEO at 36 is absolutely remarkable. So what would your advice be to anyone kind of wanting to follow in your footsteps?
It's a great question. I think that the biggest piece of advice that has worked for me is don't be afraid of hearing no. Like, if you're willing to put yourself out there, and when I was younger, like, all I wanted to do was work in sport, and it was like the fire in my belly was to work in sport, and I would work for free at a number of organisations. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not advocating for that, but this was my journey. I worked for free, and then I'd go and work in a call centre, do night shifts, but I loved it because it was like every opportunity and every meeting I had with someone, I saw that as the privilege of building another relationship, and it was another inch in the right direction. And I think that for young people, there's this myriad of barriers that are put in their way, and actually still now all clubs, all organisations, irrespective of whether it's sport or anything else, they still want to see people who are able and willing to add value. So it's not about what can the club or the organisation do for me, it's what can I do for the organisation. And if you're really proactive and you're saying, this is where my strengths are, this is what I can deliver for you, and not being afraid to have a setback and be told, actually, okay, that person isn't interested or that organisation isn't interested, well, I'll try my arm here, I guarantee you will open doors. And then once you're in and you've got that opportunity, you've got to make it count. And I came into this club at 22. I feel very old now. And it was a very, very different place, but I knew that I had confidence in myself and I knew what good looks like. And once I was in, I was like, right, I'm going to squeeze every last drop out of this opportunity. And I still feel like that today. Like I still feel like I'm learning every day. I absolutely don't have all the answers. I never, ever wake up in the morning and think, oh, I've got to go to work today. I love it. What a privilege it is to be sat with you guys in here. I work with friends. We're working in sport. We have the opportunity to make people happy on a week-to-week basis, and I relish that. And I relish that challenge. And I think if you're willing to keep learning and keep pushing, and not being afraid of failure, then really you have the ability to achieve whatever you want.
Well, those words are just speak right to the heart. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Really lovely to hear.
Well, thank you so much, Tom, for coming on to the show. It's been an absolute privilege to speak with you and get to know your story a bit more and dive into what beautiful things you're going to be doing with Bristol Bears.
Hey, thank you so much, guys, and good luck for the future. You're doing some great stuff for rugby, so we're glad to be part of it.